Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first episode of Across Enemy Lines. Johnny Sam, Cory Sparks. This is kind of our introductory episode, as you may know. This is our first episode, first mock run at it, and we hope it goes well here today. I'm Johnny. I'm a proud resident of Green Bay, big Packers fan, and that's kind of what our podcast will be based off of. If you look at, we're kind of based off of the Packers-Bears rivalry, but also more NFL, and we're going to talk about way more sports and different rivalries, throughout sports. It could be Target versus Walmart, or we could talk about different anchors in famous news channels like, Katie Couric or Barbara Walters, who you take. It's going to be a big debate show. We're going to focus on sports. Obviously, nothing pretty much outside of that, because that's all we really know, right, Mr. Sparks?
That is pretty much it. Yeah, I'm Cory. I'm a huge Bears fan, so you're definitely going to see a bit of a rivalry here. There's a reason we named the podcast the way that we did, so hope you all enjoy.
But let's talk about the Packers-Bears rivalry, just recapping real quick the history of it. It's called the purple and blue bruiser rivalry. It's the rivalry of Illinois, Wisconsin. And the thing is, the Packers are the most dominant, not actually dominating in wins, losses, but dominating in the last, I would say, 5 years. I think you could agree with that, Mr. Sparks.
Yeah, there's not going to be many things we agree on, Johnny, but that's going to have to be one. I mean, I'm looking at the all-time NFL wins list right now, and this is what scares me. The Bears they're at 783, more than any other team, because, very old franchise. And the Packers are at 782.
That's in Leatherheads days, that sort of thing.
The Packers are one behind. So they could take us over, which doesn't.
And Aaron Rodgers owns Soldier Field, so
disgusting.
And he owns the crowd.
Disgusting.
But let's get right into it. Let's have our first episode started. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. As we take a look at both sides preseason wise, we're going to talk about preseason, start things off. Mr. Cory, I'll start with you. Who on the Bears stood out for you that really you think could make an impact this season for that team?
Yeah, Khalil Herbert. I mean, he was used a little bit before last year. Not too much. Kind of a feature back behind David Montgomery when he got hurt. Had a 100-yard game to his name. He stood out a lot. Didn't get a whole lot of reps. I think David Montgomery is a very all-purpose back. So using Herbert a little bit more is going to help a lot. I think Fields looked fine, but you really have to take that with a grain of salt. You're looking at any quarterback in preseason who's had starting reps, and they're going to look great. So I think those two guys looked good. There's a lot of work to be done, which is going to be brought up in a little bit too. But I would say Fields and Herbert looked really good. So that's kind of my take on that. Travis Ebner was a very good feature back too, who I believe made the 53-man roster. He got hurt in the middle of preseason, but he had some nice big runs.
Yeah, the Bears always looking for a glim light of to crack through.
3-0, baby.
Trying to find the one player that maybe has a chance at being decent and helping them get more than 4 wins in the NFC North. But for the Packers, obviously Romeo Doubs, he showed up, and Jordan Love, I think, was another one that looked a little bit better this preseason. I understand it is his 3rd season, and he should probably be better than where he is at. But as a Packer fan and a cheesehead, I think everybody can agree with this, that I would just be happy if he can complete a pass in the regular season and not get totally shut down. Because we saw in Kansas City, he put up, abysmal yards, and you just couldn't get the offense going. So I'd like to see somebody starting to fill in that role, because there's going to be a new king in town eventually. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have 8 more seasons left. He's signed for a 4-year contract.
Thank goodness.
And so he's got about 3 seasons left, but we got to find a way to dominate the NFC North for many years to come, so Sparks can't talk about his Bears.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for the day that Rodgers just hangs it up. I think he will retire a Packer. I know there's talk about that, but you never know. Who would have thought Brady would be in Tampa Bay right now? Everyone thought he was New England through and through. So we'll see what happens once that contract's up. I don't know if there's a player option or not, or if someone else can buy him out, but yeah, we'll see, man. Anything can happen with A-Rod, right?
It'll be the Vikings if anybody buys him out.
Oh, yeah, the Favre move, right? He'll go to the Jets for a year, and then he'll hop over there in Minnesota.
Oh, the Vikings like our sloppy seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Zadarius Smith before we turned the mics on today. That's been a big topic.
We'll get into that a little bit. Let's just keep on continuing on. where do you see for out of preseason games? What sort of things are you seeing from the Bears that you would like to improve on? Like where you see the, maybe not the first line, but second line, you'd like to see some of those guys improve on.
Yeah, through and through, the offensive line worries me tons. I mean, the starters were a real disappointment last year. There was a lot of injuries, so they had to go out and call Jason Peters out of retirement at the age of 40, 41. They were really just pulling all strings. Tevin Jenkins, who was one of our higher draft picks a year ago now, he'll go into his second year. He was hurt the majority of the year. So I'm hoping, right, the backups will hold up well. And our second unit against other second units, it was more of the same. Justin Fields is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He's athletic, so he's able to, but then you throw in our depth guys. You throw in Nathan Peterman, and he's not able to get around. You throw in Trevor Siemian, who I actually think had a nice preseason, but just the offensive line through and through, they have to beef up the boys up front. I mean, the backups, the starters, everybody. So that's my big thing is just O-line, O-line, O-line. Special teams was really clean. That made me happy, but work to be done, O-line all day long.
Yeah, for us, it's special teams. I'm always worried about our special teams. I think our offense will get I actually think our offense may be better without Devontae because Rodgers doesn't have a receiver to lean on. I think our defense is going to be top 2 in the NFL. I put us up there.
Okay. I'll say top
who
2
else
secondary.
Our secondary is elite. We have a great pass rush.
Eric Stokes, great. Jair Alexander.
And our linebacking core just got stronger.
I would put the 49ers above them for defense. I would definitely put the Bills. I would definitely put the Rams.
Okay, maybe top 5.
There we go. All right, well, now we're getting more realistic. I'll give you fringe top 5 if they all play out of their minds. But no, they're good. They're a good defense. The secondary has got to be the strength, I would say. But you were saying special teams they got to work on for sure, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we saw it in playoffs last year, and I just think that, that really hurt us against 49ers, but also our offense hurt us too because we couldn't get anything going. But yeah, it was definitely one of those days where you shake your head. And I remember I was sitting there at the bar and there was just like, oh my gosh, it was just an awful game. And then special teams. So I am a little worried because we did re-sign Mason Crosby. I don't know how he's going to kick. Or we kept him on the team, the 53-man. I like the other guy from the USFL. Yeah. But we'll have to see how Crosby pans out this year. The old man's got to be, I think he's turning 40 almost. 39.
He's got some gray hair, man.
He has some gray hair. I think that's from the stress of knocking him in late in the game against the Bears.
It hasn't been close. He hasn't had to do that, but what was that? I was just about to say, you were talking about special teams issues. Bostic? Is it like 7-8 years ago now? Like this isn't the first time.
No,
I'm
don't
sorry.
Bring that up.
This isn't the first time this is not the first time special teams has been an issue. Like in the playoffs. So not saying it's been a long-term issue in between then, but like I noticed during the 49ers game, you got all the different miscues, good kick returns, obviously the kicking. And then I was like, yeah, I remember that onside kick where Bostic got in the way of Jordy Nelson. I know he was like it was just supposed to go in his breadbasket. I had to bring it up. Yep. Sorry. I live for the Packers losing in the playoffs because my Bears don't make it to that. So I got
Yeah, you don't get to see those days.
That's my Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding.
It's most teams' Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But keeping on and moving, let's talk about a little bit. Who is your dark horse team in the NFC? Like, what team do you see really showing up and making an impact that nobody's talking about?
I'll steal this from my friend. I think the Saints are in a very good position to make some noise.
That's where I was going to go.
Okay, I apologize.
I'll switch up my option.
We can bounce off it. I mean, the wide receiving core is nuts. Jameis Winston, I know it's a small sample size. Before he had that season-ending injury, he was having his best year yet. He was not throwing a ton of picks. He had discipline. We've always known him as a volume passer. He's going to get the ball down the field, but the mistakes were so limited. He only had a couple picks after a few games. They've got Chris Olave, who I think is a great Rookie of the Year candidate. They're getting Michael Thomas back. Alvin Kamara is one of the best two-way backs in the league when he's healthy. And that secondary is ridiculous, too. I mean, they just got rid of Gardner Johnson. It's going to hurt him a little bit. He was more of a trash talker than anything else. They have Tyrann Mathieu. That team through and through, I think they could actually steal the South. I would not doubt it at all. So the Saints are mine.
Now, I wouldn't say they'd steal the South, but I definitely think that they're going to be maybe number 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure, at least, yeah.
I think Tampa Bay is going to just win that out. But my team, now that I've changed, I didn't think we were thinking on the same page. That's totally fine.
Same wavelength.
And I think mine's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about them. I think their defense has picked up a little bit. They have, they're solid. They're a solid team overall. I think Kyler's coming into the season with a new attitude because he knows he's not safe. Because nobody wanted to sign him. Nobody wanted to re-sign him.
He did bet on himself a little bit. Yeah.
And I think that adds an edge to what he's going to do on the offensive side. I never really thought Kyler of it as an elite quarterback, but he's getting elite money this year. And I think that he'll definitely prove himself throughout the season. They still got DeAndre Hopkins on the receiving core. They got, plenty of weapons in the offensive end and defensive side. They're still solid. But they did lose Chandler Jones.
Yep. They got Marquise Brown though. So I mean
so they lost Chandler
Oklahoma.
Jones to the Raiders, which is a huge loss. But we'll have to see how JJ Watt does if he plays more than 5 games. Yeah, he's been detrimental. But I think the Cardinals could be one of those quieter teams because they did show up last year and they played quite well. I mean, let's talk about that season. That was phenomenal, and then they kind of blew a tire against Packers. But
and it was all downhill from there. I think the Packers are the beginning of that decline. I mean, they started out was like 7 or 8-0.
Yep. Because I remember going into the game, nobody was expecting us to win, and then we came out with it with a Rasul Douglas interception.
Yep. AJ Green just didn't turn his head. I was I watched that over and over. I was like, is he supposed to be blocking? He never turned his head for the pass, but Rasul Douglas, talk about a guy who broke out last year.
And I think he's going to help that Packers secondary tremendously this year.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll talk about week 1 here just because it's starting. And so the Packers are at the Vikings. Not ideal place for me week 1. I'm confident, but I'm also scared.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like playing in US Bank Stadium. It's a loud stadium. It can get really rowdy if you let them in the game, and anything can let them in the game. They're the Cowboys of the North, the Vikings are, as we've said before. And I hope all the Vikings fans hear that, Cowboys of the North. But I just do not like playing them. I think they're a good team. They signed Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, which is hilarious because that was the whole thing with the Eagles.
Comical.
They took him over Jay Jetta.
But yeah, so I don't know what this offense will look like there, and I hate when the Packers go there because I always think we take our foot off the gas when we probably shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather play at Lambeau against the Vikings. But that's my take. You want to mention anything in that game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big game where you guys lean on your running game, especially if you can get out in front early. I think the Packers have one of the best 1-2 punches out of the backfield in the league. A.J. Dillon had those two, if you look at him and Aaron Jones, it was similar to Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. Almost the same amount of reps, same amount of yards per carry, pretty much. And A.J. Dillon, for a big dude, he had a lot of catches, too. Like, he actually got involved in the passing game. He was a good check down guy. Very hard to bring down. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think it'll be close. I might say Vikings by a field goal, but I wouldn't be shocked if Aaron Rodgers just drives down the field. If the Packers are the last one to score, or if they're down, 1 possession or less, if it's 3 or 4 points, I'm going Packers all day. But if it's out of reach, I think they keep it close. I don't think anybody gets blown out here, but
no, I don't think so either.
It is US Bank. Yeah, so
that stadium is so hard to play on.
And you don't have the weather elements, obviously. It's going to be it's a way different story in Lambeau a couple months from now when they have to deal with the cold. And they're used to playing inside, and the Packers are
Welcome
like,
to the North.
Yeah, this is our element, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings steal it, but I don't think it's a sign of things to come. I think that running game for Green Bay is going to be really, really hard this year.
No, I think it'll be a close one. I think it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
No.
I think it'll be like 21-17, but I got to go with my Go Pack Go. I can't bet against my own team. That's just wrong.
I know.
And I think it's going to come down to it'll be a Tunyon streak up the middle. He'll split the gap, and he'll split the safeties back on the backside, and Rodgers will toss a lob, kind of breaking out. and just kind of, just as he does, just
I can see it right now.
arc one right in, and all of a sudden you hear the place go quiet. You don't hear the stupid little horn. You don't hear the skull.
You don't want to hear the skull? I think the skull is kind of cool. And that's in the division. I think
The skull is the dumbest thing. The dumbest thing.
If that
Other
exact
teams
thing
have-
happens, I'll go to Oneida with you. Because that's 21-17, Tunyon on a streak, fading out. If that happens, we're getting lucky.
Just Rogers does his famous lean back, off the back foot, kind of just pop it up in the air.
That ticks me off, Johnny, because mechanically that's not supposed to work.
But he takes psychedelics and wins games.
Your weight is supposed. That's where this podcast is going. Your weight is going from your back. to your
let's
front
talk.
foot.
Think about that. He's taking psychedelics and winning games. He's torching teams.
He's a specimen, man. You don't
He
find
throws
many
for
of him.
200 plus yards, while being out of it. Most people lay on the couch and eat chips.
Yeah,
he goes and plays football.
He's just got that talent. And I'm not gonna say it's pure talent. It's hard work too. I mean, you saw him fall in the draft. What year is this
It's
for
pure
Rodgers?
talent, I would say.
See, when I think of pure talent, and you're gonna crap on me for this, and no hard work, I think of Jay Cutler because I think he could have been a lot better than he actually was. Jay Cutler could throw a ball, but he also had Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey. His season could have gone a lot worse if he had.
And he had Martellus Bennett too.
Had Martellus Bennett as well. Forte was one of the better two-way backs. I think if he actually worked hard, and a lot of people said this, one time he was running out of the pocket.
Well, he was dealing with Kristen Cavallari or whatever.
Oh yeah, we're learning a lot about that relationship. That's interesting, man. He's a character. I think we'll just leave it at interesting.
He should be a commentator on the NFL.
They wanted him, and then he went to the Dolphins for a year and did decent. But I would be okay with that. I mean, look what Tony Romo's doing.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Talk about his times he donated the ball over to the Packers.
No, he's not. I don't want him calling those games.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to call
I
those
don't.
games.
I remember throwing it to Nick
DJ
Collins
Raji or that actually wasn't him. That was our backup. That was McCown or Haney. I don't know, but yeah, I'm.
You
getting
don't even know
nightmares.
because it's been too many.
Just happens too many times. I'm having nightmares.
A laundry list of quarterbacks
Oh,
going down.
Did you see that where they had Rodgers trying to name everyone since the beginning of his career, and he got to like 6 and was like, oh, I don't know.
Well, I don't know how you do it.
Oh, I could name off more than Rodgers did.
Oh, you're a Bears fan.
And he's the
He
owner
played
apparently.
against him, though. He met him. Let's talk about the hottest issue of the week for the Packers-Vikings game, and that's Zadarius Smith. The man I lost total respect for.
I think he's hilarious, Johnny.
I think he's soft as butter. He's calling out the Packers for treating him wrong. But he played, 18 snaps?
Last year, yes. But before he was getting, I'm looking at him right now, man. 12 and a half, 13. He was snubbed, right? Where he pulled his shirt up and it said snubbed on it because he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He's solid.
He said he had a back injury. He sat out the whole season.
I don't know how serious it was, but the year, like if he plays how he did when he was healthy, I think he's an issue. I'm not gonna lie. Will he do that? I don't know, but I think. He's funny.
His ego's all hurt. I know he's gonna come in with vengeance.
Yeah. Packers fans, you guys loved him though. You loved him in like 2019, 2020. You're like, why wasn't this man in the Pro Bowl?
It's like Greg Jennings. Immediately once you badmouth us, it's cut off.
That was how old is Zadarius? See, what is he going into? He's going into his 8th season. So he can't be too old.
He's
29.
30 almost.
Mm-hmm. So, he just turned 30.
Rashawn Gary, I think, is going to fill his position.
I like him. Yep.
Quite well. Kenny Clark looks good up front. I think Quay Walker and who's our other draft pick? Quay Walker and blanking here.
Who are you thinking of? Like what position?
Defense. I think first or second round.
This year?
Yeah.
I'll just look it up.
It wasn't Quay.
What is it? Jaquan Brisker. Listen, you're gonna remember that name, Johnny. That he's up there in the voting for Defensive Player of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year. Excuse me.
Okay.
He is kicking butt and taking names on the Bears over there. I know it's preseason, but he was jumping in a lot. I think he got a couple of sacks, just blowing up screens. Okay, let's see. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. It's Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt. Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, on the D line, interior.
Yeah, I think he'll help Kenny Clark.
What are your thoughts on Christian Watson, man? He didn't play a game in the preseason. He was nursing an injury. I mean, that's supposed to be like, I think he's their two. He's supposed to be like the Packers 2 or 3 right now. How do you think he's going to pan out?
I think he's going to be one of those players, kind of like a Randall Cobb.
Okay, he's big.
I think he'll be. Yeah, that's a big step.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he'll be really good, but it'll take some time.
Yeah.
I think he obviously, as you mentioned, he's nursing injury. Dobbs kind of took over the preseason spotlight.
Yeah, he'll be solid.
But I definitely think he's going to be one of those wide receivers that you don't think of all that often, but then pops up in big moments.
Right. And when I said he's big, I mean he's 6'5". Like he's a big body. So I'm curious. Like I see what you mean with the Randall Cobb role. He might, score late.
But he also can play that corner in the end zone.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of bullying defensive backs.
If he stays healthy, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it goes because that was supposed to be the big pickup this year. And I mean, no one's going to fill in for Devontae right away, right? But Devontae
I don't
wasn't
want
anything.
anybody to fill in for Devontae. I don't want a top receiver like that takes all the attention of Rodgers.
I see. You'd prefer for him to spread the
Because
ball
he does
out.
better when he has a spread like a talent offense.
He got
rather
MVP last year, man. I don't know. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but look
though.
at the 49ers game.
Right.
He was focused all on Devontae.
Yeah. It's
But
kind of
that's
something
why
you
I
lean
think-
back on.
I think Lazard's going to pick up some pace. I think Tunyon's going to pick up some pace. Because they got to fill in. I think Cobb will pick up some pace.
Mhm.
He's getting old, but I think he will. He likes to run that slot and get right up in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's where I like to keep him. And then if we get Watson on, inside the red zone, I would like to see him going for corner routes.
Right.
Just kind of trying to get the push off without getting any pass interference in the back of the end zone.
Mm.
But that's where I kind of like to see him. I think the offense is going to be explosive, but I also think we need to keep intact on the mindset of, because what I don't want to see a 13-4, 13-3. I'd rather see a 12-5, 11-6. I'd rather see us take second or third in the NFC. So then we have a chip on our shoulder to win.
Right.
That we're not going to get home games and have to wait, because I think that home game stretch was that bye week was absolutely killer last year.
It's starting to look like a streak, right? A little bit of bad luck. Like you get too comfortable. Oh, we get the week off. We get to come back home. They have to come to our house. They don't know how to play in the cold. And then, last year happens, right?
Yep.
I could see that.
Yeah, I that's what I think. I think the Packers need to, honestly, I think they need to drop a couple games that just get them to somewhere where they have to win and not get in the mindset of, oh, we're already at home, we're going to win.
I could see that. Yeah, they do need that chip on their shoulder. I feel like it's just, you get really comfortable going into the playoffs, and then you just run into, the 49ers are a bad matchup, man. I mean, just run heavy, killer secondary. They're able to force Rodgers to try and look outside of Devontae. Otherwise, they'll literally they do it every time. They've got a corner pressing them, and they just have one of their safeties leaning on him. They're like, okay, well, if you get past me, you got to deal with their safety. So, yeah,
Yep.
It's something.
So, your Bears.
Oh, boy.
They play the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
This is year 2 for Fields. How does he open things up?
Give him a little time, and I think he does fine. I think the Bears lose this game, but I think Fields does have a good step forward.
Oh, I wasn't even going to ask that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Assume that we knew that.
Yeah,
I was writing it off already.
They got hit in the mouth by the Niners last year. Elijah Mitchell had a really good game, and he's their starting back now, like, no doubt. With Mostert gone, I think he went to Miami. I think Fields does good. I think they're going to get him out into the open. The Bears don't have any big-name wide receivers. Darnell Mooney's pretty cool story. He was a 5th-round pick, and now he's our number 1 guy, and he had a 1,000-yard season. But what the new front office did is they went out and got some guys who are speedy, are going to go out with Fields on bootleg, design runs, run pass options where you can use his legs as a threat, draw people out of coverage, and then try and hit someone in the open field. So I think he does fine. You're going to make mistakes against the 49ers. You just are. He had a really cool run against them last year where he had to evade like 5 people. And while it was cool, you shouldn't have 5 people running at you. Your O-line should be blocking like 4 of those. Like
Oh,
maybe,
they're Swiss cheese. We kept the
yeah,
Swiss cheese down there.
it's bad. So I
If you
think
notice on our cheese heads, that's Swiss cheese. It's got holes in it. So I think they donated them.
they might have,
Said, here's
man.
your offensive line. It's going to be cushy, and it's
Yeah.
going to have a bunch of holes in it.
We got a couple guys in free agency, but Fields needs help. I refuse to blame a man who has no time. He had like the most quarterback hurries or one of the most quarterback hurries last year. I refuse to call a man a bust or anything like that. People are acting like, it's horrible. Keep in mind, Peyton Manning had one of the worst rookie seasons anyone's ever seen. And I'm not calling Fields Peyton Manning, nor will
I was
I
going
ever.
to say,
No.
let's pull the reins back a little bit.
No parallels being drawn there. I'm just saying that, you can have a bad rookie year and turn it up. But yeah, I think you don't need more wide receivers right now. You just need time because at worst, if he finds nobody, he's athletic enough to get outside of the pocket, throw it away, or try and steal a couple yards with his legs. I think he improves. I think he improves a lot. It's just going to be a matter of can our O-line stay healthy and can the guys out there actually do something. So I think he does better, but not good. Not good till we get more help.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I know we talked about this before, but the Bears, they need to drop games. Because here's the thing. They get stuck in kind of the upper middle of the draft. And they lose out on the really good talent that can get picked up. And they're kind of in this rut where they can't get out of it, but that's because they can't get any talent in it.
All right.
So I think, because what did they draft last year? Probably...
Got a lot of corners because...
No, I mean, what position for the first round? What were they?
They've lost their first rounders. So, because they traded up for Fields, so they didn't have a first rounder last year.
Oh yeah, but
so then they went corner, O-line. There was a lot of focus on O-line. They're just all young, so I'm worried that they're not going to.
You know what I mean? They're like that 6 through 10.
Right.
They're in that range in the draft. And I think they need to hit that 1 through 5. So,
yeah, they love to grab people late and go, look how he turned out. Darnell Mooney being one. Yeah, they got Kyler Gordon. He was our first guy in the second round. And then Jaquan Brisker, who I brought up before. He's supposed to be great out of Penn State. And then we went wide receiver. And then we started to go O-line once, the 4th and 5th rounds hit. So we're getting premier talent at the O-line. That ticked me off. I felt like you need to prioritize that more after what we saw last year. Corner, yes, of course. But my goodness. I mean, I know they're built on defense, but now we might get a dome and take the weather element out of it.
They haven't been built on defense since Dicka's day.
What? No. What? No. Watch 2018. Like, they led in every category.
2018. That's the year he holds near and dear.
You said that was way after Ditka. It's already 4 years ago.
Oh, I forgot the Bears. Yeah, who'd they pick up? Clinton Dix from the Packers.
Yeah.
Sloppy seconds again.
No, but they had Khalil Mack. They had Leonard Floyd, who's killing it in LA now. They had Kyle.
Yeah, they're all going to be killing it. Khalil Mack's going to be killing it.
Yeah,
the Chargers because he's got Bosa, right? The Bosa brother.
Yep. They got Joey
on the other
over there.
side. That'll take attention away. He's got Derwin James.
Then they got J.C. Jackson over there too, led the league in INTs. No, they'll be when the Bears deal players to contenders, they just go off. It's hilarious. I'm like, okay. But their defense has been relevant.
It's like a hilarious with a tear coming down your eye. You're like, yeah, that's so funny.
That's hilarious. I'm so glad they're thriving somewhere else. Yeah. But no, they were good a few years ago, and now it was the weirdest thing. They ascended to 12-4 that year, and then they immediately dropped back down to mediocrity, and now we win 5.
Well, they're kind of like the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2015.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate, unfortunately.
When they had that big breakout year.
Yeah. And then they lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship, and then goodbye. Yep. At least they won a playoff game. We did not.
Well, let's talk about your opponents, the Niners.
Yep.
They got Trey Lance. How does he do?
He's a guy who can throw down the field, so you're still going to see Shanahan run a lot.
He's mobile, too.
He is mobile, too. So I think you'll see some read option with him and Elijah Mitchell. Dude, book it. I mean, Trey Lance, if we want to bring up the Ben Simmons argument, he didn't play a lot last year. He could be Rookie of the Year, but he's not going to be. That's not how the NFL works. But no, I think Trey Lance has the best year out of all the quarterbacks drafted last year. So better than Fields, better than Davis Mills, better than Trevor Lawrence, better than Mac Jones. Trey Lance has the most raw talent out of that quarterback.
I think Mac Jones has the best.
He might take a step back, man. He's having a horrible training camp. I don't know. They did just get Devontae Parker.
It's just Belichick's system, baby.
That's it,
Makes
though.
You feel down. Makes
That's
you
true.
feel like you got to prove yourself, and
Yeah,
then you're playing at elite level,
we'll
and
see.
Belichick just sits on the sideline and doesn't say anything.
Yeah, we're on to Cleveland, or we're on to Cincinnati.
Yep.
But no, I think Trey Lance is the most raw talent. Yeah, Mac Jones is probably in the best spot right now. But I don't know, man. That Niners team is pretty good. Their front seven on defense is going to get you the ball back quick. Lance is going to have a lot of time with the football. It's not going to be a scenario where you play for a bad team, the defense can't stop the other team from scoring, and you get a handful of chances. Lance is, and he's going to have a good week against the Bears week 1. That's for sure. So.
Oh, you could put a Pop Warner kid back there, and he'd have a good week.
Oh my! All right.
It's open season.
It's until we get some more guys. I think I'm waiting for Jaquan Brisker to really have a good week though. I think week 1 is going to be, oh crap, this guy can play. We might have a defensive rookie of the year candidate here in Chicago, but there's 10 other guys who have to do their job, so we'll see.
Let's just real quickly highlight week 2.
Oh, what?
No,
Why?
because it's going to happen.
No, this is week 1. I don't even want to talk about this. It's your show, but oh my.
It's not my show. It's your show.
If it's my show, I'll tough it
We're
out.
cutting it off and wait until next time.
What do you want to talk about this primetime matchup that's going to be so extremely close?
Right here in Lambeau, baby. Packers Bears.
I don't want to.
I think you need to come up to Green Bay
and watch them get. I'm not paying $120 to watch them get throttled through binoculars.
Can't go to the game.
Yeah, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. You want to watch it on the TV and watch them get pelted.
Yep. We go to the bar and we have a good time.
Yeah, I'll be a couple drinks in before kickoff, if that's what's going on. If that's what's going on.
Packers Bears come up. Let's go, baby. Packers Bears. The rivalry. As you said, Packers are like 1 or 2 wins behind the Bears in the overall rivalry.
Oh, that's just great. They'll clinch it right there. They'll just pass us. That's
what
wonderful.
I was waiting for.
That's wonderful.
So then it'll be.
Thank you, Roger Goodell.
The one hope that Sparks had.
It's gonna die in Lambeau. That's just great. What is that day?
We're better to let it die. Do you want it to die in Soldier Field?
Sure. No, those would both hurt. I don't want this matchup in week 2. I don't want them to lose it. Oh my gosh, dude. I didn't even think about that. They're going to lose to the Packers, and the Packers are just going to, all those graphics are going to come up on Fox or whoever's covering it. The Packers now have the most wins of any team in NFL history, passing the Bears, who they just beat. And then I'm going to drink more.
What's your go-to drink?
I don't really have one yet. Oh, no, I do. Angry Orchard is nice. It's a hard cider. I have a very limited arsenal, Johnny. I just turned 21.
What?
I don't think I'm a beer guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Tequila sunrises are nice. Vodka lemonade, Jack and Diet. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at.
Angry Orchard.
What do you mean Angry Orchard? Yeah, it's good. You can't.
You can go with the Mike's Hard.
Mike's Hards. I mean, those are fine, right? I don't know. It's something light. You're ripping on that too. Okay, all right. That was supposed to be a joke. Yeah. Let's talk about how my Bears are going to lose 40-7. What do you see in that?
Well, I'm just talking about the game, baby. It's week 2. You gotta win. Gotta go with the winning attitude. You gotta be like, you think Mike Ditka went into the game and he went, I don't want my Bears. We're not gonna win.
Mike Ditka had some talent on his team. I mean, and a supporting front office. I'm trying to think of a score that's like not too pessimistic, but I can't sit here and say we're going to lose on a game-winning drive unless the Packers just play with their food for 3.5 quarters.
I'll be nice.
Okay.
35-14.
Wow. Yeah. Let's do it. No field goals. Yeah, there wouldn't be. You guys don't need to kick field goals.
We're not gonna kick any. You guys might.
Yeah, we have Cairo Santos, man, best kicker in the league. Second best kicker. Justin Tucker.
No, your best kicker was
Stop it.
Double doink.
Stop it.
Double doink.
He doesn't even have a team right now. He was on the Browns.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart of hate for that man.
It's not his fault.
What?
Bears' fault. They couldn't push it down the field. Do you think he purposely double doinked it?
We had a game-winning drive.
You know how hard that would be?
You know how many times he did it? He doinked it like 5 times that year. He was a meme before that.
He did doink it 5 times a year. But that's because the Bears set him up with a 40-yard field goal.
Okay, I will say it was funny how like Chicago, downtown Chicago, all the distilleries, they set up like this field goal post in the middle of the street and they measured out 43 yards and they put like a 7-foot fence and they said, if it's so easy, I need you fans to come out here and make one, because everyone was criticizing him, saying I could have made that kick. If it's a chip shot, like remember Blair Walsh a few years ago against the Seahawks in the playoffs?
Seahawks have had a lot of late game things go their
Bostic.
way. They had the Bostic, they had the pass interception.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
If you remember that.
That was one of the best calls in history.
You wanted the Seahawks to win?
It's a tough call, but you know, it was the right no.
The Seahawks, one of the chippiest teams in the league.
They might go 0-17
time?
this year. Watch their games and you will be happy. They have nobody. There's no one. Bobby
They got
Wagner.
DK. They got DK.
DK and Tyler Lockett and Geno Smith throwing to them. So I'm sure that'll go well.
Hey, never doubt Geno.
Chris Carson, retired. Bobby Wagner, gone. Franchise quarterback for the last 10 years, gone. Pete Carroll,
they're gonna be off.
suffering.
They're gonna be off.
I wish the Bears
just-
would play him like every week. Then we.
I hate to say it, but I still don't have a lot of confidence in the Bears winning that game.
That's insulting. They have no one.
And who do the Bears have? They got Fields,
Darnell Mooney, Eddie Jackson. Cole Kmet's going to take a step forward. That's a name that's actually starting to come up in deeper fantasy leagues. Because who else is he going to throw to?
Yeah, you gotta find somebody.
Yeah.
Billy from 8th grade football.
Oh my, dude, big country.
Yeah,
It's baseball, but that's all right. Yeah, I like 35-14.
I thought it was nice.
I like scoring. Yeah, that's about our season average last year. They put up like 17, 18 a game last year, so that's just wonderful.
All right, let's go to more national thing, or we're talking national, but more around the league. What team for you is going to see the biggest drop in record-wise and talent-wise, besides saying the Seahawks or something easy like that?
Right. The Browns stick out to me, but they weren't solid last year, so they'd really have to fall.
That's who I was gonna say.
All right,
too.
I have another team.
We
So
gotta plan out. We gotta plan out who we're gonna say the days before.
they're not going to
'Cause
be
I
the
was
biggest drop, but they will drop. I'll say the Titans. They lost A.J. Brown. Derrick Henry got hurt for 8 games last year. He's never had a major injury like that before. So if Henry goes down again, my goodness, what do we do now? We rely on Ryan Tannehill to throw it to absolutely nobody because A.J. Brown's gone. They did get Robert Woods. That's their one. But he's coming off an injury. So you have your number 1 wide receiver coming off an injury, your number 1 running back coming off an injury. Tannehill took a step back last year. I don't like the Titans at all. I think that they'll come in second because they're in the same division as the Jaguars and the Texans. But I think the Colts
who
run
are
away with
just
that division.
awful
Yeah. Jaguars have really good weapons and about nothing else.
because they drafted first. They draft first every year,
That's true. I've done it twice now.
but you gotta
But,
make them pan out.
Yeah, I'd say Titans drop like 2, 3, 4 games. More
See,
than last
I
year.
think like you already mentioned, I was gonna go with the Browns, but it's not gonna be exactly for the reason why you think it is. Obviously, it's the Deshaun Watson thing. He's not gonna be playing for most of the season,
Yeah.
But when he does play, you know how hard the opposing fans are going to go on him?
His own
I
fans
mean, he was
might
in
boo him.
preseason, and they were ruthless.
Yeah.
They were absolutely ruthless.
I'd boo him if I was a Browns fan, man. Like, that's a good point. The crowd element.
Because I don't think people put into that. They talk about Deshaun, and yes, they got Landry back. But what about the fans on... Did they get Landry back?
Landry's gone, man. Landry's on the Saints, too.
No.
So that's all the more...
That's right. He's
that's
on the
all the
Saints.
more
I forgot
reason to
about
say
that.
they're going to lose more, though. So, they lost another weapon.
Yeah, that could be another reason why he's going to lose more. But when the fans get into it, and, you see Deshaun out there, I think it's just going to be ruthless. It's going to be kind of like Mike Vick that first year he came back, but worse.
Yeah, but worse. Yeah, probably, man. They got Amari Cooper, but beyond that, dude, Donovan Peoples-Jones was fine, but he was
supposed to be a big thing when he was at Michigan. He was supposed to be the next big thing.
He had a couple breakout He's a guy who's going to get you like 2 receptions for 90 yards, and then you won't see him for a bit. It's just like a big play guy, but that's a good point, Johnny. I didn't think about that. The crowd aspect, you've got everyone. His own fans might
Oh, his whole I wouldn't doubt if they have any morals
I
to
know a
them.
couple Browns fans, and they're like, why couldn't we have waited back on Russ? Why couldn't we have treated Baker
And
better?
Baker's going to come into that week one, and he's going to absolutely come with vengeance.
Are the Panthers good though? Like, I don't know if it's gonna have to be all
But
Baker.
it's going to be the Browns with the backup quarterback.
That's true. They should have kept Case Keenum. Case Keenum worked under Stefanski for that Minnesota Miracle. Stefanski's their head
Thank
coach.
you for putting that in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I can't stand the Minnesota Miracle.
It was
That
seeing
missed
two guys run into each other pretty much. A missed tackle. That was something. Yeah, I took a little luck. It was a miracle.
Absolute garbage.
That was something.
It's just luck.
Yeah. But they should have, dude, the Browns, I mean, yeah.
But the fans are going to be so, especially in away games, if he's got to go I don't know what he's going to play. I didn't check what teams he's playing late in the season. But,
Yeah.
you go to like a Philly base.
He has to play Pittsburgh twice a year. There's one.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pittsburgh's going to be ruthless.
I wonder if he has
and
to
they'll
play
probably
away.
see him late in the season.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to even call a play.
You know what I think is hilarious? His first game back, the NFL, what was it, like 11, 12 games? Everyone was like, why that number, right? His first game back is against the Texans.
Yep.
That's so TV motivated. Everyone, the NFL's theme this year is starting quarterbacks playing their old teams. Joe Flacco's even doing it. Joe Flacco's doing it week 1. He's playing against the Ravens.
He's on the Jets now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the Jets. Zach Wilson's out for a week or two. But
Zach Wilson,
that is the name.
the Cougar Hunter.
You said it, not me. Yeah, they
I
come
had
back.
to say it. You had to say it.
They come back and play. Oh, he does have to play. Yeah, Deshaun's got to play at Pittsburgh in the final week, so that's just a nice send off for 2022.
Without a doubt. But I now on the other side, what team's going to see the biggest gain? I'm going to say my team. So then you don't. So then you.
Oh,
no,
I thought you meant the Packers.
Not my team.
I was like,
I'm going to
there's
say
no
my team that
frickin'
I'm
way.
picking.
Okay.
That I'm picking. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
I think Tyreek Hill is going to open up that offense a little bit. He's going to run those fly routes. He's very fast. He can play different components of the game. He can run that, a swing or a jet if they have to do that. I think it's going to open things up for Tua, who, I question his arm strength. I don't think his accuracy is real great.
That is valid. Yeah.
I mean, his accuracy is good within 15 yards, but
Correct. Yeah.
Most NFL quarterbacks is. But once he gets beyond that, I'd like to see if he can handle that, stretch offense and opening up the field and see if he can't throw it over 25 yards and 30 yards.
Yeah.
Just to see what he can do. I think they have a lot of their playbook is open with Tyreek Hill, and I think they can use them in a lot of different ways. And I think you'll see the Dolphins see a couple more wins this season than they've seen before.
I like that. I was a big Tua hater last year. You have to understand, like, the job of an NFL quarterback is so hard. We haven't had a lefty in a while, so he's dealing with a lot of different challenges.
Southpaw?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a different blind side, so they have to completely move that O-line around to construct for him. The thing about Tyreek Hill is he could burn his man so bad, you could underthrow him, he could come back, get the ball, turn around, and still get a touchdown. Like, they've got...
Oh, he could come back, turn around, read a book.
Yeah, read a book, take a 4-hour nap, and then run. Like, everyone's saying it's going to absolutely ruin Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a very athletic individual. Tyreek is going to help Tua. I like it, Johnny. They'll get some more wins this year. You've got one of the best wide receivers.
I think they pick up 2 or 3 more wins.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And they've got so many running backs. They have Mostert. They have Sony Michel. That team is their running back depth chart is super deep. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. They just missed the playoffs last year. Khalil Mack on the front 7. He's going to be, when he comes up the middle and Bosa's coming off the edge, those blitz packages are going to be absolute nightmares. And then you have J.C. Jackson.
Derwin creeping in?
Yeah, Derwin creeping in. J.C. on the back end, one of the best coverage guys in the secondary in the league right now, along with Derwin. Herbert, that's a top 5 quarterback in my opinion right now. I don't know how you feel about him.
Top 10.
Top 10 for sure. I think top 5, he is inching there. He's in a loaded division, right? So it's kind of hard to gauge.
He reminds me of Rodgers.
Really? Okay. Arm talent for sure.
Yep. Little
Little
bit of
mobile if he
mobility.
needs to be, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like Herbert a lot. He's got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler had a very good year last year. I feel like not enough people are talking about him. I had the Herbert Eckler special in fantasy, and that went very well. So, like
Oh,
those two,
congratulations,
yeah.
Mr. Sparks.
Thank you. But I like the Chargers. They might even take that division. They're the favorites in some betting
I
lines right
have
now.
them. I have them as that dark horse team too.
Yeah,
As one of those teams that I can see nobody thinking about them because that AFC West is loaded with talent
it is.
and they just win continually, kind of like the Patriots used to do. You didn't hear about them during the season,
Mm-hmm.
but they won every week and they didn't make a big noise about it because that's the Belichick way. You don't
Right.
make any noise about it. And they just all of a sudden show up in the playoffs and they're just like this, like, crack your skull team.
Yeah, give the Chargers like 12, 13 wins this year. I mean, seriously, even in that division, I think they roll over the Broncos. Russ doesn't have a whole lot of healthy wide receivers. The Chiefs are going to be interesting because Hill and Pringle are gone. You still got Kelsey. You still got that defense, but no more Tyrann Mathieu. So I don't know. I think 12 or 13 wins is very much in the ballpark.
And you still got Andy Reid.
Still got Andy Reid, man, the
gopher.
cheeseburger lover, the gopher. Oh my! I haven't heard that
Have
one
you
before.
looked at him? He looks like a gopher.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
But
no, I haven't heard that one before.
yeah, look at him. He's got that mustache, makes him look like a gopher.
Oh my gosh. Give me the Chargers with 12 or 13 though. I think the Dolphins could get 11, 12. I mean, yeah, I like that.
I think so too. Because they got the the AFC East. They got the Patriots. They got the Jets.
The Bills are going to be tough. That's going to be
The
a
Bills
cool
will be
matchup.
tough. That's kind of one of those weeks. But I think Hard Rock Stadium is going to see some wins this season.
Oh yeah. Playoffs? Because they don't get the division. I think that the division is chalked off for the Bills after what we saw last week. That team is stacked.
I mean, week one's always deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody jumps to like the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They've been favorites
But
all offseason, so I'm curious to see how much it holds up. But
it all happens if they can play the 17 weeks.
right.
And continue late in the season. So I do want the Bills to do well, but I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see.
Let's go to our final topic. I think here of the day, we'll wrap it up. But Odell, because we're talking about the Bills, Odell's been mentioning a comeback.
Yeah.
And he wants to be on the BILS. Is there room for him? I don't think so.
I think so, man. Why not? I mean,
Why would you want Odell on your team?
It's a flare. It's still one of the best route runners. My concern is he's still hurt.
His ACL is torn twice now.
Right.
He's not going to be able to hit that route nearly as hard as he did.
It's going to take some recovery for sure. But we said that the first time, and look what he was the Super Bowl MVP until he got hurt after one ACL injury. I understand two is very severe, but yeah, he's not going to be able to come in until the end of the year, if at all. Is there room for him?
My dog has two ACL injuries.
Oh,
She had them repaired. She's not the same runner that
she's
was.
not running the routes anymore. The route tree
Nope.
is a little reduced. Just that strict
I
post.
just don't think I don't think with two torn ACLs he's worth the money and worth the hassle of being Odell.
I think he'll understand, and his agent will understand. Look, we're not asking for a
No,
ton of
he's
money.
one of those attitudes like Antonio Brown that doesn't understand. I think he lives in La La Land a little bit.
He's definitely got a bit of an ego, and that's been brought up before. He's like punching walls and stuff. I think there's room for him though, Johnny. It's Stephon Diggs, it's Gabriel Davis, it's Isaiah McKenzie's their three. Plug Odell in there, man. It's very similar to the Rams, where it's that one. And okay, there's not as much of a drop off because Gabe Davis is going to have a big year. He had one last year towards the end, but I think you could plug him in for sure. I mean, with the Rams, it was convenient, right? Because Robert Woods went down, so it's like here's our decisive two. Odell could be their three. Yeah, Odell could be their three behind Gabe Davis, I would say. But like you said, two ACL injuries, that's going to be really tough to come back from. And we wouldn't see him until like December, January, if he has a very speedy recovery. And you don't want to sign him and then just sit him for a year. So I like it. I'm not going to lie. Josh Allen can make a lot of things work.
I don't. I think he's like a Russell Westbrook. I think he breaks up locker rooms.
Oh, I've heard that take before. That Odell is the Russell Westbrook of the NBA or of the NBA. Good morning,
Of the
NFL.
He's just too big of an ego.
He's
It's
pretty
like coming in,
polarizing. Yeah.
and he wants his catches, he wants his this and that, but he's not willing to be a team player.
He had a point with the Baker Mayfield thing though. Baker would like
Yeah.
it would be Odell on a check down wide open or Jarvis Landry deep with like 3 people on him, and Baker would be like, I'm chucking this thing. I'm chucking this son of a gun. I'm like, okay, maybe not. But I do see what you're saying.
Without a doubt.
He's a little polarizing.
Polarizing.
Like you either love him or you hate him, right? There's no one who's like, Odell. I feel like you either you're on it with him and you're like, yeah, I'm ready for this comeback, or you're like, he might ruin a team.
Yeah, I think he's one of those players that can be really toxic if you don't have the right coaching staff, right team, and right, just formula to bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like, your Russell Westbrook, your Allen Iverson. Can't put him in without you're going to see some negative impact, but you're also going to see some positive, but it's all weighing if the negative is greater than the positive.
Right. Like a very good talent for sure. Pure talent. Amazing route runner. I still think without those ACL injuries, he's one of the best route runners in the league. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. The personality can kind of get in the way, and who knows what goes on between those walls in the locker room. But the Browns team just fell apart. I mean, that team was supposed to be so good, and look where we are now.
Yeah. Browns likely to be the bottom.
Yeah, very much so.
Of the AFC North.
Because Money Mitch is just going to carry that Pittsburgh team. Oh my goodness.
I knew you were going to say something.
You ready for comeback player of the year? Oh my goodness.
I knew you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'm ready for that comeback player of the year, baby. Give me that Money Mitch Pittsburgh Steelers jersey if he wins comeback player of the year. I'll do it.
Will you?
Oh, if he wins comeback player of the year, I will gladly wear a Mitch Trubisky jersey for Pittsburgh. I have a Bears one. That one's not coming out anymore. He got the Pro Bowl, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Keeping it in the closet. All right. Well, I think this was a great start for us, but I think we should wrap things up. We've gone on long enough. We kind of ran through our rundown, and we hope to we'll hopefully bring up some social media stuff and other things, but we want to thank everybody who tuned into our first podcast here today. We hope to bring you much more and more diverse sports, talk about basketball, I want to throw in hockey. I would like to. I know Spark's probably not real comfortable with it. I'd like to cover the WNBA.
Yes.
Because I think they get way undercovered. So baseball, all the sports. We're going to talk about all sports, but right now we're focused on football because it's week 1, baby, and everybody's excited. Even Sparks is.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch 31 teams in the NFL.
Yeah, except his own.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap things up here. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Across Enemy Lines. For Cory Sparks, I'm Jonny Sant. We'll close things out here, and we'll see you in the near future.